Hello, my dear friends. Today we're going to talk about what is important to you. That's the theme for March. And one of the things that is important to you is how to get a super messy room that's overwhelming, that you don't know where to start, that it's going to take a long time, how to attack that. A lot of people just freeze. And so what I'm going to give you today is a project plan. Now, I will say that this week, when you're listening to this video, we are in zone 3. Zone 3 is the other room. That means that you can do other rooms than zone 1, which is the entryway. Zone 2 is the kitchen. Zone 4 is your master bedroom and closet, and if you have a bathroom in the master bedroom, off the master bedroom. Zone 5 is the main living areas. Everything else is other rooms. Here's some examples: guest room, bathroom, powder room, craft room, game room, gym, sewing room, garage, basement, attic, sunroom, office, library, laundry room, mud room, and for my friends in Alaska, Arctic room. Those are other rooms. Now, you probably don't have all those rooms. You probably don't have most of those rooms, but you might have 1, 2, or 3 of those rooms. And so how do you attack those rooms when one of those rooms is the garage, for example, which is just packed out, or the craft room? So what you'll do is take care of the other rooms, the ones that are less intimidating, the hall bathroom maybe. And maybe you've got, let's look something, maybe the laundry room's not so bad, and you can declutter that, which means you go in and you work for 15 minutes a day, 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or whichever 4 weekdays you choose, for 15 minutes in that space decluttering it. If you have already decluttered that room and all you have left is your craft room, then you're going to start on your craft room. You're not going to deep clean that room yet. You're going to keep it clean with a weekly home blessing hour and the daily rituals, which people call routines. I like to call them rituals because they make you feel better. Swish and swipe. You're going to swish and swipe every toilet and sink in your house. It's easy. It takes just a few seconds. It's not a deep clean, but it keeps it in a good shape. You're going to mop the bathroom every week when you do the weekly home blessing hour. So the bathroom's going to stay kind of clean. You may have to hit a tub once in a while. But when you finally get to that craft room or that big room that's just overwhelming, you're going to have a project plan. So how do we do a project plan? I'm just reading all my notes here. Let's see. Work on one till, okay, that's it. Just always work on the easiest one first, and then when you get done, you're going to go to your project plan. So get out a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, and at the top, just like in class, you're going to write the title. The title is whatever, fill in the blank room, the room you're attacking. The date that you're starting goes at the top right corner, so start date. I know this sounds ridiculous and particular, but it's going to make a difference. Then under that, you're going to write end date, and you're not going to fill that in yet. Then you're going to come down and you're going to write the first paragraph. Yes, you're going to have to invest some mental energy in making a project plan. You're going to title the first paragraph your vision statement. Okay? And you're going to imagine what it looks like done. So I'm going to use, what room should I use? I'm going to imagine a gym. Let's say you have a gym room, or maybe a combination gym room and game room. Okay, let's just imagine that. You imagine what you need to imagine. So when you look at it right now, it's got boxes of things that don't belong in there, bags of things that don't belong in there right now. It has shelves full of stuff and other stuff is stuffed in there, not just books or games or whatever you intended it to be. There is equipment in there, gym equipment, and it's got clothes hanging over it and just weird stuff. There's a broken vacuum cleaner in here, etc., etc., etc. So what you're going to do is imagine this room complete. So in the example of a combination gym and game room, I'm going to say something like this. I'm walking into this room and it's open and peaceful. There's a game table to the right where we will play poker and cards and do Monopoly games and jigsaw puzzles. All of those games are stacked neatly on the shelf beside the table. There's windows in this room that are open and clear. And during the pretty weather, I can open it and I can see the curtains fluttering in the wind to air out this musty place. The carpet is clean, or maybe you had to get new carpet. I bought a new carpet to put in here, and there's a great relaxing couch. I have a TV on the wall, an end table with lighting where I can actually sit and read in here. It'll be a nice place to get away, or the children can come in here and be calm. A coffee table with nothing on it, so we can play games there if we sit on the floor, or put sandwiches and drinks there. And in the corner to the left is my exercise area where I have my Peloton bike. I can see the television from there easily, so when I can do my Peloton workout, or you put your walker or your running, whatever you have, treadmill, that's what I was trying to say. I have my gym mat or my yoga mat rolled up in the corner, along with some yoga blocks and stretching straps. I also have my hand weights in 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and 20 pounds, and maybe 50 and 100 if your husband's going to work out there. This is my gym room / game room, and I'm really excited about it. Oh, and I have those cute pictures I want to hang on the wall behind the couch, and I think I'm going to change the color of the walls in here to a pretty antique white. Okay, that's your mission statement. It doesn't need to be that complex, but I like to have the whole deal, and I like to think about how it smells, how it feels to sit in the chair, how it looks to have the light at night or in the evenings or in the stormy weather when I'm reading, how it how it sounds in there. It's peaceful. Maybe I have a place for a candle when I'm in there doing quality quiet time, maybe yoga time. Maybe I can hear my music through my TV system, my YouTube system, or maybe I can have Alexa, play beautiful music for me, etc. So the only thing you can't do is taste. Maybe the sandwiches or the popcorn that you're going to eat while you're watching a movie. That's it. That's what you have as a vision statement. It's a long paragraph, and you have to figure it out in your head what it looks like, whether it's your garage or your attic or your Arctic room, whatever it is. The second statement, yes, there are two, is your mission statement. So you'll title this second paragraph, Mission. And this statement is going to be what you're going to do. Not exactly, but in general. I'm going to clear out all the empty boxes and put them in recycle. I'm going to go through all the boxes and declutter them, only keeping things I really want, need, and use. I'm going to have that old couch taken out of here because I've stored it for too long and it's not worth anything. I'm going to get all the clothes out of here and washed up and sorted and given away or put where it goes, etc. That's what you're going to say. I'm going to do some general things. So it's, another paragraph. Now what we're going to do is get into the nitty-gritty. So on the left side of your page, you're going to write each thing you're going to do. Now, where do you start? You start looking at that room. If you cannot get into the room at all, then you might, and there's a major thing right there in the way, maybe a couch, maybe the first thing you do is pull out the couch. If not, I want you to start either clockwise in the room from the door, back to the door, or counterclockwise. You choose what works best for you. And you're going to look to see what is there. And you're going to say, well, I have empty boxes. Number one, recycle the empty boxes. Please don't save thousands and thousands of empty boxes unless you're getting ready to move in the next couple of months. Don't save boxes because you might need them. Second, okay, now I see some boxes stacked here and some tubs. So I would say I'm going to go through all the cardboard boxes first and declutter those. And there are 4 of them right here. So declutter 4 boxes. Now I've got 6 bins. Some of it is Easter decorations, some of it is Christmas decorations, some of it is clothing, off-season clothing. Unless you have no other place to keep these, you don't have a basement that they really go in, or a garage area that it goes in, or a storage closet. If this is what you've chosen to keep in this room, then you would keep it. So if you need to go through the bins, that's going to be an additional set of minutes. So you're going to always put the time it takes to go through them in minutes to declutter, okay? So don't put 500 minutes. Make it in a amount of working time that you're willing to do. So if you're going to work for 1 hour for the week, then you pick an hour's worth of work, and that goes in that one line, 60 minutes. If you want to work 2 hours, I will encourage you, if you want to, only if you want to work up to 2 hours. So that would be 120 minutes. If you are a payroll person and you can only do it once a week and you want to work for 2 hours in here every weekend, then you can do that. If you're an at-home homemaker, I highly encourage you to split it into 4 units of time. So if it was 2 hours a week, it would be 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. So try to break your work that you're going to go do into that amount of time or less, okay? And you're going to do that all around the room. So let's say now you've come to your stationary bicycle, and it's covered in clothes and rugs and terrible things. So you're going to take those things off, and you're going to determine if they are throwaway, if they are giveaway, or if they are put away. If they are dirty and you intend to give them away, then you're going to wash those first, okay, along with the other things you have there. Throwaway goes in a bag and goes outside to the big garbage can. Don't feel bad. A lot of the things we give away now to the Goodwill, etc., are overwhelming to them, and they have too many, and they will throw it away. But if you know it's not worth it and you wouldn't go to the store and buy it used, then go ahead and do that for yourself and for them. And then vow, as you're doing this, to not keep refilling the landfills by being an emotional purchaser and just buying things because it's fun. It's not fun when you have to do this part. And that might not apply to you, but some of you it will apply to. So listen to what I'm saying. So you're going to do this all the way around the room. And you're also going to say some things you're going to delegate. Get Bob and Sam to move the couch to the corner and call the collection people or whatever you have to do. That's your whole plan. Once you get that whole plan, and it might be more than a page, it might be 2 pages, it might be 3 pages, add up all the time. And then divide it by the number of minutes you're willing to work per week. 60 minutes would be your minimum, 120 would be your maximum. You got that? You're adding up all the time and dividing it by the number of minutes you're willing to work a week, between 60 and 120. Please don't go crazy and work for 6 hours in one day. You will never want to go back and do it again. And you won't finish. And the whole deal about this is we want to complete the process so you can have a beautiful, smooth, streamlined home where you know where everything's located and you can easily access things and enjoy your beautiful home. It does not need, and I don't encourage you to have it Pinterest perfect. That's not a fun house to live in. It has to be lived in, but comfortable and tidy, okay? And clean and peaceful. So now we're going to do the final things. So once that is all oh no, I beg your pardon. Now you've got you've got a number. When you divide by, let's say 90 minutes, which will be an hour and a half a week, into the total number of minutes you have, use a calculator. That's how many weeks it's going to take to do this, but stop. If it's 3 weeks or more, for every 3 weeks, I want you to add 1 more week for slippage. Maybe you underestimated, maybe somebody gets sick unexpectedly, etc. Now you have a start date, which maybe is tomorrow, and an end date if you go onto your calendar and you count those weeks and you get your end date. There's more to it. Look at your calendar. Do you have any commitments for any of these weeks? Do you have vacation? Do you have guests coming to your home to spend a week, etc.? Add those weeks also. Now you have the number of total weeks. Count those weeks up on your calendar, and that is your end date. And you might say, well, Kat, that's only 3 weeks. And I added 1 week, so it's 4 weeks. Great. In a month, you're going to have it done. But somebody else might say, Kat, that's going to take me 8 months. Well, how long has it been this way? And by doing this repetition every week or every 4 days a week or every weekend, week after week after week after week, you're not going to be doing any other zone work during this time. You're strictly going to be doing weekly home blessing for your house. And clutter stops. That's it. Clutter stops are when you look around 3 times a day, sometime in the morning after breakfast. If you're at home, sometime after lunch. If you're a payroll, when you get home from work would be the second time. And the third time is before the children go to bed, or if you don't have children, before you go to bed. You will notice that in the morning when you do it, there's almost no work to do because you've already done the look around. Remember, when you're doing clutter stops, that means you're preventing new clutter from forming. So the things you're picking up aren't clutter. They don't need to be determined whether you need to, if you love it, need it, use it, want it, and have room to keep it. These are things you use all the time. That's why they're out. Unless they're dirty Kleenex, they go in the garbage. But you are not decluttering. You're simply picking up and putting away, or putting where it belongs, and telling your family the same thing and setting an example for them. This is what keeps the clutter from reoccurring. And when you declutter in this room, your room that we're talking about right now, in this example, the gym, what did I call it? The gym game room. You need to look at it where you've already decluttered and make sure nobody else stuffed something in there right after you did that. And you can say, Bob, remember I'm cleaning this room. Please don't put more stuff in here. If you need to, this kind of stuff goes in the garage over by your tools or whatever, okay? Or your children. Your skateboard doesn't go in here. Remember, we made room for it in X place. That's going to keep it from recluttering and keep you from spinning your wheels in the mud and being miserable. All right, that is that's your project plan. Sorry, that's your project plan. And so once you've got that project plan, every week you're going to work in there for the number of minutes you committed to. Remember, it's the dripping of water that wears away stone. You might say, Kat, an hour did absolutely nothing. That's okay. When you go through 8 weeks, you would have put in 8 hours in that room. When you go through 8 months, you would put in 32 hours in that room. 64 hours, I don't know. You put a lot of hours in that room. So you're going to do the same thing every single time you come to project plan, and you're going to keep doing it, and you're going to get better at it, and you're going to get better at getting rid of stuff. And some people have found they can go back to the first part they decluttered and say, I really don't want to keep this hall tree or whatever you ran across. I'm going to donate that. All right, here's wishing you an excellent project with wonderful results. And I hope you have a great week. And always remember to be beautiful because you are beautiful.